Yeah, you can get into some pretty tight spots with the Model X.
It's Dad! Oh, sorry.
Hey, people of the grid, we have just finished 2 of the big things of our day. We went to Mass and we had brunch. Everybody's being fed. Now we got to run to a curling game. Then we got to take Amelia to a volleyball practice. And then she goes to volleyball
Game.
Practice again. At
camp
a
or
place.
practice. Yeah, she's got 2 volleyball things today. I've got to make my way up to Edmonton tonight. I got to pick up a colleague. I got to pick up a bunch of parts that we need. So going to be a bit of running around, but the weather is nice. I know the roads are going to be good. So it's going to be a good rest of the day. It's already just about noon. Guys, today I've been exchanging emails with a fellow in the UK considering getting a Tesla, and it got me to thinking, because I sent him a really longer email response today. I thought I would share it here today because I think a lot of people are thinking that. And the question that he came up with was a really good one. It's a really hard one, which is, do you think Tesla will survive the test of time? They're going through an incredible amount of cash. They're burning through money and have been for several years now. And the question of, are they viable? They're not returning a whole lot via dividends to stock owners. But there are people that are making a ton of money off of Tesla stock. In fact, I read about a couple of people that bought Teslas with the money they made because they invested early on in the game. So the bigger question is, do I think Tesla will be around for a long time? And the spoiler to the question is, yes, I believe they will be around to weather the test of time. But I also believe there's a smaller probability, about 15 to 20, maybe 25%, that something bad could happen to them. But I don't foresee that happening, and I'll tell you why. Now, before I get to the explanation part, I want you to think about something. You're watching this, you're watching us. Some of you watch us daily, thank you. Some of you haven't subscribed yet, please do. But you're watching this over the internet. You're watching us over pipes that were laid back in the 90s primarily. Those pipes were laid during what I call the telecom arms race. There were companies that were racing because they knew the internet was going to be the future. They all wanted to be there. So every single telecommunications company out there was laying fiber. Not just a little fiber, they over-provisioned. They borrowed a ton of money, laid a ton of fiber. Many of them ended up merging into the bigger companies. Some actually went out of business. What ended up happening was we had all of this bandwidth that was laid underneath the ocean, through the satellites, around the globe, that connected all of us together, but it wasn't ready to be utilized yet. We weren't doing video. We weren't even doing music back in the 90s in a big way. And so this all sort of came together under the arms of these major telecommunications companies, and it's evolved into what we experience today. We benefit from all that bandwidth, and most of us, here in Canada, they still charge us a lot for bandwidth, but it's cheaper than it ever was. There's places where it's ridiculously cheap, and it's because of that. So the end state was so much better than even the vision of what the telecoms were building. Keep that in mind, because what we're going to talk about from an EV perspective in Tesla ties in, I think, pretty good with that. So first, the reasons people think it's dire straits: burning through a lot of cash, going through a lot of money, not returning money to investors. I think that about, Wall Street. Most of the experts are the ones from Wall Street. Wall Street operates under a different set of rules. Their expectations for when they see return, it doesn't take into account developing a business, and it doesn't take into account laying infrastructure. They just want to see instant returns, and if they don't see it, they'll penalize a company. If they do see it, that company's stock will shoot it'll shoot through the roof. So that's why we're seeing a lot of press, because every single expert and his or her dog seems to have an opinion on why something's going to fail. By the way, I don't know why, but the world seems to feed on why things won't work, why things will fail, why things are going bad. Negative news is always big. I don't get that. I'm more about positive news. And so when you look at Tesla, you have to look at both sides of the equation. Yeah, they're going through a lot of money. Yeah, they've been spending. Let's look at what they're spending on. So when I look at key places that they're investing money, Tesla's actually doing kind of 3 things that are completely different from what every other auto manufacturer is doing. They're, number one, investing money in a network that supports the vehicles they build. That supercharger network, I've always said, is the secret sauce to the Tesla experience because it's there and it allows for long distance travel that rivals what we get now from our gas vehicles. It's a little bit longer to wait, not much though. You stop, you go to the bathroom, you pick up some road trip food, and you're back on your way again, pretty much right off the bat. If you need a longer stop, you grab a lunch, or you sleep over, if you're really driving far, like we've done many times. That's something that no other company is thinking about. See, every traditional company just says, well, we're going to make an electric vehicle, and then they start making it and they throw it out there, and they're like, you buy it, you figure out where you're going to charge it, consumer. We're not worrying about that. That's up to you. And so then you got third parties deploying chargers, and they need to make money, and then it costs more. Tesla isn't like that. They're investing first into making long road trips possible and supporting the product that they make. Not only that, they're all in. They're not double hedging their bets, putting a bet on a gas vehicle and an electric or doing hybrids. They are all in to pure electric travel. I like that. Number two, they're also investing in some of the key components that go into making an electric vehicle possible. The batteries. So they have a huge investment, a ton of money tied up in these gigafactories, factories that actually produce the batteries. They call it the machine that makes the machine. In the future, it'll be probably 100% automated. Right now, it's probably, 75, 80% automated. But the fact is they're making a key component for their cars. And I think that's also one of the key secrets of success. One of the secret sauces is the big battery packs. They're the only company out there that's saying, you know what? We need bigger battery packs. People want to drive further. And to do that, you need bigger battery packs until battery technology gets to the point where we don't need bigger battery packs. The other thing that they're doing is by building out that number one, that supercharger network, there's more density. So you don't need, in the future, you won't need as big a battery pack because there's so much charging. Just like now with gas stations, which are everywhere. I mean, there's 4 on every corner pretty much. You don't need vehicles that have great gas mileage because the gas stations are everywhere. Same thing in Tesla's case. Eventually, you won't need vehicles with big battery ranges because charging infrastructure from them and others will be everywhere. That's the other thing they did. When they built their product, they built it to use their supercharging network, but they also built it to be compatible with what's out there, J1772 and L3, level 3 charging. So a Tesla can feed off of all three. Other EVs don't have that option. And that's a key differentiator. And then finally, the third one that I think is different, and they've put some money in there too, is in solar. So they're investing heavily in alternative energy generation so that they can actually offset some of their own energy needs, but also they're making a bet on the future. So they're saying, we really believe that the future of transport is electric, and we're aligning all our chips on that side. That's innovative. That's gutsy. I admire that. From the Wall Street perspective, here's where they're missing things. They're missing it because Tesla is doing all of this stuff, but they're building a car company at the same time. And now they're comparing Tesla to Ford and to GM. And you can't do that. Ford and GM have existed, some of them for almost 100 years. They're here. They already have production capacity. They already have people trained on making vehicles. They already have production lines. Tesla built all of that while they're building out the vision. It's kind of, you could say, kind of like building an airplane while it's flying, right? And you got to land at some point. So you're building that, and you'll do the wheels last because the airplane's going to come down at some point, but that's in the future. I look at Tesla as being a lot like that. They'll get those wheels on there. They're going to land this thing, and they're going to do it super, super successfully. And I know it's working because you see the response. The market has had to respond. Because of what Tesla has done, it's changing behavior at Mercedes, at BMW, at Volvo, at all of the major automakers, GM, Ford, Ferrari, Harley. There's companies that said, we will never have an electric motorbike. We will never have an electric Ferrari. You know what? Funny, they're coming out with electrics now. This is a shift that's happening. It's just simply, it's kind of like our move into smartphones, right? People in the early days said, yeah, we don't need that. That's crazy. We don't need a computer bolted onto it. We don't need that. And here we are. That's all we need is, a smartphone gets everything done for you every day. So I think Tesla sees that. They see the future and they're executing on it. I'm pretty excited about it. That's why I think they're going to be around. Let me know what you think. I'm really curious. Put them in the comments below. I think it's a great conversation. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know everything. But based on what I've seen and a little bit of faith, it always takes a little bit of faith, I think they're going to go far. And It's working for us so far. We're towing stuff. We're carrying our 4 kids. We're doing all the things that we ever used to do with a gas vehicle. We're doing it with electrics. Now, we still have a gas vehicle. Like, there's no, I'm not hiding anything. We still use gas. I'm not against gas. I use it because I need to. Right now, I have a truck that tows a very heavy trailer. And until an electric vehicle comes along that can, supplant my truck, that's what I'll be using. But the cool thing for our family is we do less than 2,000 kilometers a year on that gas truck, and we do over probably 60,000 kilometers a year, even more, I'd say, on electric. So that's 60,000 electric, 2,000 gas. It's not bad. And I love talking about this stuff. So like I said, let me know what you think. I'm really curious. That's why I'm doing this thing. Oh yeah, and that whole comparison to the telecommunications arms race, if you think about it, worst case scenario, absolute worst case scenario, Tesla blows it. There's a whole lot of intellectual property in that supercharger network, that secret sauce that they've already built and deployed. If they go under, any of the big 3, big 5 automakers could pick it up for pennies on the dollar, and they could actually instantly be in a winning game of electric vehicles. And so if somebody did pick that up, the dumbest thing to do would be to lock out all of the tens of thousands of Teslas. I think it's over 300,000 now that are out there. What they would do is they would continue supporting us, the people that invested and bought those vehicles, and continue on Tesla's trajectory of building EVs. So I'm really not even worried about it. Worst case scenario, there will still be Tesla-like functionality. It would be like Tesla 2.0, but I don't think it'll fall to other hands to do Tesla 2.0. I think Tesla themselves will execute on Tesla 2.0 and 3.0 and 4.0. They've done it already. I mean, they've already got 3 vehicles plus a semi that they're working on. So pretty impressive for such a short timeline. Hey, we just dropped Amelia off at her volleyball practice, and then she's at a volleyball game, and then she goes to the practice after, which is kind of like a coaching camp.
Confusing.
Yeah, it is confusing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you going to do volleyball?
I might do the baseball.
Baseball.
I want to do baseball.
Do you? Good. I'm going to pack up. I'm going to spend some time with Melissa, who's the only one that we've got right now, because Ethan and Samantha stayed with friends at curling. They're going to go for a yogurty sweet treat when they're done.
Lucky.
Amelia's at her thing, and I got to get ready to go. So I'm just going to hang out with these guys, and then I'll head out. So hope you guys liked the little chat. Let me know what your thoughts are again, and I will catch up with you tomorrow. Miker, out.
And Melissa.
And Melissa.
And Melissa.
Out.